Hello everyone, it's Dr. Carin here. I hope you're doing well today. I feel like it's been a long time. It's, believe it or not, August 10th today, and this month we're talking about detoxification. So we're going to be talking about how to get rid of unwanted, unhealthy things from our bodies and our lives to improve our health. And in fact, today, Dr. Vanessa, myself, and 15 others are on our day one of our 10-day metabolic detox program. And if you haven't heard of a metabolic detox program, this is a program where we're doing a deep clean of the body using super nutritious food and medical foods to support our organs of detoxification. If you're interested in doing a detox like this in the future with us, just let me know, leave me a comment, email our clinic so we can make sure to contact you as soon as an opportunity comes up in the future. I'm thinking maybe 3-4 months ahead, we might do another program. So let us know. If you're just joining us now, say hi. Oh, hi, Stefani. Nice to see you. If others are joining us, just give me a thumbs up or say hi so I can see who's on today. What we're going to be talking about today is how life clutter can actually lead to fatigue, weight issues, and stress. All right, and Christy said I would be interested. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, and we'll put you on the list to contact you when we find out more about the next detox program. Thanks, Christy. All right, so today we're going to be talking about that life clutter and how tidying up can actually improve your health. So we often talk about nutrition and being selective with the foods that we're eating, right? But today I wanted to talk about everything else that we consume. So messages that we're hearing and absorbing. Are we intentional about the objects that we're buying and holding on to? What about the spaces that we live in? And then how do these factors affect our health? So the title of today's video is based on Marie Kondo's international bestseller book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. This is a huge bestseller all around the globe. It's in different languages. If you're familiar with it, she has a signature process of tidying up, which involves looking at all of our belongings and then asking ourselves, does it spark joy? In her Netflix series, which is called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo, she guides people to actually take their belongings and then thank the object as they let them go and get rid of them. And I think this is super powerful because this really incredibly intentional process of reducing and reorganizing really brings awareness to us about our relationship with our belongings and our spaces, particularly our home. So if you've read her book or have seen her Netflix series, just type in the comments, spark joy. So you probably know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about spark joy. Of course, as with any good makeover show, her clients' homes, of course, look amazing and neat and organized and beautiful afterwards. But the thing that really struck me with watching her process is the clients themselves feel transformed. They often say they feel lighter, they feel calmer, and they feel better able to move forward with a more meaningful life. And that's so powerful, right? How can cleaning up your home change your life, change how you feel, and change your life direction? So I wanted to talk more about that and how we can really take advantage of that. So you've probably noticed when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, ungrounded, you gravitate to natural environments. And actually this year during the pandemic, we're seeing this effect even more, right? There's lots of people going to the mountains and to the parks. We're seeing this across the country, more visitors to public parks, for example. We know that, instinctively, we know the positive effects that nature has on our health and our mood. And if we sort of turn that around, we also have experienced that noisy or crowded environments, or even environments that have artificial lighting, can negatively affect our health and our mood. So our homes can have that effect on our mood and our health as well. So one study showed that the people who describe their homes as messy or chaotic, unfinished, those kinds of words, they actually had higher stress hormone levels, cortisol levels, than those people who describe their homes as peaceful or calm, quiet. These higher cortisol levels were also linked to symptoms, perceived stress as being higher, negative mood, even fatigue. So in addition to just being distracting and decreasing our productivity, clutter in our homes can actually increase our stress, and actually make it more likely for us to seek those coping strategies, right? Like comfort eating. So not only do we feel different, but it actually leads down the road to different behavior, which in addition to feeling stressed will make those symptoms worse. Another study, which I thought was fascinating, was the study found that people who worked in a neat, organized space were twice as likely to pick up an apple over a chocolate bar compared to those people who worked in a messy space. And these are people who had the choice to choose either one. They picked an apple. Those people who worked in those neat spaces, neat organized spaces, picked an apple over a chocolate bar. So cleaning up clutter can actually help you feel better, but also help you make better food choices. And so you can easily see how that could be really directly linked to your health. And what I find even more important than that is this shows how your environment can help you to do things that you want to do easier, so that you don't have to consciously choose to do those things. It's not about willpower. You set up your environment to help you automatically choose those healthier behaviors. Okay, so now, if reducing clutter feels so good, like on Mary Kondo's show, which, oh yes, Christy has seen it, yeah, and Sohani as well, yeah. So if it feels so good to declutter, and we know, we have evidence that it actually makes us healthier, then why is it so hard to do? Why do we have this tendency to accumulate things and have things piling up at home especially, or in our office? So what's right now our modern Western society, it really encourages and actually celebrates independence instead of acknowledging or nurturing what I call interdependence. We rarely acknowledge that we are mutually reliant on each other and the natural environment. When we nurture this mutual relationship, we're constantly reminded that we're, first of all, not alone, and also that we only thrive as individuals when we know we are part of a community and we're active members in that community. So without this, many people, that's young and old, feel a lack of connection, feel isolated. On top of that, of course, marketing swoops in and feeds off of these insecurities, gives us endless options for quick solutions to fill that really deep and very uncomfortable void that results from this. So with all of these factors, if we're left on autopilot, we go further and further down this path of consumption, of trying to fill that void. So that could be consuming more TV or more news than necessary. Many of us just leave the TV on in the background. I certainly used to do that. Consuming more food, not because we're hungry, but just because we're spending more time at home and it's there. The reality is right now, not consuming actually takes quite a bit of effort. Right now, consuming pesticides in our foods is easier than not. buying personal care products with toxic chemicals in them. It actually takes a lot of effort to avoid these kinds of things. So avoiding these unwanted, the clutter in our lives actually means going against the tide of the culture. And it takes a lot of intention. And that's really why I wanted to talk about this today. And I wanted to support you in really being intentional with the process of detoxifying and decluttering. Donna says sometimes starting the declutter feels so overwhelming. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Sometimes it's just like, where do you start? How, is it that pile on that table? Is it the news on TV? Where do you start, right? I'll give you a couple little tips at the end of this on that, where to start, that I think will make the biggest impact. So you can see here that when I'm talking about clutter, I'm referring to not only the piles of paper on our desks, but also anything that's preventing better things from coming into your life. I don't know if you've heard of Peter Walsh. He's a professional organizer, but I think he said it really well. The clutter is anything that stands between you and the vision you have for your best life. Clutter is anything that prevents you from being healthier and more content. It's really anything that prevents us from choosing what's more important to us. Okay, so we've talked about the benefits of reducing clutter. We even have evidence to show that reducing clutter helps to feel better, helps to choose healthier behavior. It even changes our hormone patterns in our body. And when we choose less, we're actually allowing ourselves to choose better. And just a couple days ago, Dr. Vanessa did an amazing masterclass on sauna therapy. I don't know if you have had a chance to look at it yet, but she talks about the sweating and detoxification. And on this topic, she says, and I'm quoting her, it's an opportunity to let go and purge what you don't need, to make room for what you want to flow in. That is exactly the most powerful reason we do detoxification. So where do we start with all of this? So as Donna was saying, it is overwhelming to know, do you start in the garage? Do you start with the boxes over there? Where do you start? My recommendation is to start with reducing the clutter in the spaces that you want to make healthier decisions in. Maybe that's the kitchen. Maybe that's your office space, your work area, whether that's actually in the office or at home. Maybe that's your desk. That's where I would start to organize. That's where I would really concentrate on first, because that's where you're making multiple different decisions, and the less of the decisions that you can do, the better, right? Make it more automatic. Set up the environment so that you're automatically choosing healthy behaviors. That would really ease things up. And that will not only make you feel better right in the moment, but it will help you with your nutrition goals and weight and fatigue down the road. So that's where I would start. Start with the spaces you want to make healthier decisions in. Okay, once you start to get a handle on that, then what I would do is to just start to work on identifying sources of clutter. Where is it actually coming in to your life? And these are things that might be a little bit more, a little bit less obvious, right? A pile of paper on the table or piles of boxes. Those are obvious sort of physical clutter. But what about listening to the news for longer than necessary? What about listening to excessive and negative messages from yourself, from the media, from other people around you? Listening to those excessively. Holding on to items in your homes that you're not using, that's not supporting you anymore, that's not helping you to be content and healthier. Maybe it's time for those to go. Maybe it's just something very subtle, like leaving the Wi-Fi on overnight when you don't need it overnight. I found that the clutter itself is not usually the biggest problem. The problem really lies in what it's preventing us from being able to do or invite in instead. So leaving the Wi-Fi on for one night is not going to particularly make you feel fatigued just after one night. But leaving it on every night may be preventing us from getting the best sleep possible and having therefore the best energy down the line. So over time, this can really affect the way you feel and your physiology as well. So let me ask you this: what kind of clutter do you have in your life? Drop them in the comments if you're wanting to share. What are you holding on to? What do you want instead that's better? How are you thanking your clutter and letting it go? How are you clearing the space to invite better and healthier to, as Dr. Vanessa says, flow in? At the end of the day, when we choose less, what we're actually doing is we have a chance to choose better, right? Christy is saying, yeah, old paperwork, holding on to paperwork for longer than necessary. If you don't need it anymore, why are we holding on to it? And an even more important question is, what is it preventing? What better thing, what healthier thing is it preventing us from inviting into our lives? I would love to know your thoughts on clutter. Drop them in the comments. If you want to find out more about electromagnetic clutter, like the Wi-Fi I was talking about, on Wednesday, so 2 days from now at 1 o'clock, Dr. Vanessa is going to be doing a live on digital detox. So this is specifically on that electromagnetic frequencies. So Honey says old toys. Yeah, that's such a common one, right? And we often, they might not be in the center of our living rooms anymore, but maybe we've got them stored somewhere in the garage. And maybe because we don't see them, maybe we don't notice it that much anymore. But what is it that you'd like to flow in that's better than that? And remember, we have a lot of, there's sentimental value, right? Remember that process of letting go. That's where I think Mary Kondo's process can be so helpful. Take some time with those objects. Thank them for what they've done for us, and then let them go. If you feel that it's not serving you anymore, go through that process, but start with those rooms that really you have to make a lot of healthy decisions in. I would start there and then go to the other areas of clutter in your life. Okay, that is all I wanted to share with you today. I hope that was there's some good reminders in there and some valuable insights that you were able to get today. Look out for more topics on detoxification over the next few weeks, and I will talk to you next time. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.